So I'll just record today's meeting and Sharon, I'll email it to everybody and Richie can uh, review the webinar.
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. So Annie gave me a little bit of background. Like you guys you have an older system, you're looking to replace it, and it's only for the one plant. Is that correct?
That's right.
Excellent.
Well,
Right.
one plant, but I can't remember. I know that I looked at licensing requirements, and I may have been looking at Maxpanda, but I looked at a few things, and we do have several buildings
Yeah,
within the
that's fine.
plant.
Yeah. So we'll talk about pricing right now. Each one of these plans is unlimited users, buildings, like your database, it doesn't matter how big it is. So you can manage, 10 assets or 10 or 100,000 parts, 50,000 buildings. That there's no limitation there. A
Yeah,
site,
when you say parts, are you talking about like inventory?
correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so the database size is unlimited. It's every one of these price plans allocates a certain amount of work orders per month and how many sites you can create. So
Okay.
a site is a different database, right? It's so if
Hmm.
you had a plant in Louisville and one in New York and one in Los Angeles, you would create three different sites and name them accordingly, and they would operate independently, right? So
Okay.
for you guys, I think one site is good. The IT managers sometimes use, develop their own site so they can track and manage IT related equipment. So it's not bundled
Hmm.
up with facilities and operations. So
Right.
you have to, with your preventive maintenance schedules in your current system, like, do you know on average how many work orders you're conducting every month?
Henning, do you know?
Yes, is what you call work orders there. That's actual like PM sheets.
A PM yeah, if you schedule a PM every month, that's going to create one work order automatically for you. So it'll deduct it from the starter, for example, it'll deduct 100, right? If
Yes.
somebody submits a problem, takes a picture of a pump or light bulbs burnt out, that submission becomes a work order. So then now you've got two, minusing two from that number.
Yes. So
So
and
is it 100? Is it 200? 350? We have an enterprise, which is unlimited work orders. So you don't need to be an enterprise account, right? Like you want to stay under the maximum amount you average.
yeah, I would say the work orders alone is just straight up PMs is more than 100, but less than 200. But if there are things that has to be fixed on it, then we're looking at more than 200. If that's
Right.
two.
And
So
the
you're
good
talking
thing,
about more than 100 preventative, but you may have to actually, do a repair or whatever, and then
Yes.
that would drive you over 200. Okay.
If you have a PM on the forklift, then we get it in here and we call it out and say, okay, well, it needs to have this and this changed on it. Well, that makes it two.
Yeah. Okay.
But I still think we could still come up with a perfect number there because we just have everything we have is listed in the machine. And if I took every one of them, we got let me look on here, but they're not, all that need to be recorded. It's just that it's in here, but we are at 487 pieces of equipment that we look at on a monthly basis. But they don't
Okay.
but they
all
don't all have PMs that month, every month.
they do not all have PMs, and some of it
Yeah.
is a sewer system. Well, it's just because once a year it's got to be pumped. That doesn't get a monthly work
No,
order.
that's a yearly. Yeah, that's only one. So it'll create that one during that specific month that you schedule it.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I don't suggest starting at the standard plan. I mean, it is only $40 more per month, and it'll give you 350 work orders. So the good thing with Maxpanda is you can even start with the starter and then just increase your account as you move forward. Eventually,
So
you might even get a second plant one year,
yeah.
So then you'll need that second site. So obviously you're not going to be doing 200 work orders. You might be with two sites, two plants, you might be up to 500. So you can upgrade and downgrade anytime. There's no contracts with us. It's monthly or yearly plan. So
Yeah.
very simple.
I do have a question hinting about something like, I guess you probably have forklift maintenance,
Yes,
right? So could you do that? Like, I mean, if it's once a month and maybe you have 100 forklifts, could you have one work order for 100 forklifts
That's correct.
instead of 100 work orders?
Oh, of course. Yeah. So our work order system can have as many assets tied to it or locations.
Okay.
Yeah, like think of fire and safety, right? You've got extinguishers all over the place. You might have 50 of them. You don't want to do a PM per asset. That's just silly. So
yeah.
you add all of them in, and then you give yourself a couple weeks to do the PMs, and that's that single PM.
We
Right.
got right at 50 forklifts, so it will
Okay.
be hard to have them follow each other as with one, because you really need to be able to pull up each history, because there are some that do 15 hours a month and there are some that do 250 in a month. So it'd be hard to do that. But like he says, if it was fire extinguishers, we can probably do one a month and then just have 50 in it. It wouldn't matter which
Yeah.
one is.
For your
But
forklifts,
okay.
Henning, you mentioned time, like hours. Do you do your PMs by the calendar or meter as well, like time?
It is really, everything gets checked once a month, and then depending on the hours, depends on if we go back and do the next thing the next month. So
Gotcha.
part of that is manual, and part of this is the older system.
Understood. Because I only ask because Maxpanda does have meter-based PMs for your assets. So you can print out the QR code, paste it on the window of the forklift, and an operator would scan it and put in the latest odometer reading, and you
Yeah,
could set up a trigger saying every 5,000 miles or every 500 hours
yeah,
automatically generate that PM.
yeah. That's exactly what we would like right there, because I have to do that calculation by hand, or Jeremy. Either one of
Right.
us have to do that by hand. That's
Yeah, and it's very simple. Once you all you have to do is with the mobile phone, you scan the QR code, update the reading, and save it. That's it.
Hmm. Okay, cool.
Now, because you have a system already, that's actually good because I'm going to show you. You're basically copy and pasting your information onto our import sheets that are built in to Maxpanda. So
Okay.
you can create your entire database literally in 15 minutes. So that's why we don't charge you for setup. I'm going to log
Okay.
in now to my account. So everybody's email is their username. There's an administrator. Typically, the first person who purchases Maxpanda is the company admin, and they'll start inviting people in to the account using their email. You'll get an email. You'll set up your password, and you're ready to go. You then that username and password can download the mobile application as well.
And we can do the sign in with Office 365 too.
You could do
So,
that too, yeah, if you want.
yeah, I think that would be easier for them.
No problem. Oh, because it's the same username password.
Yeah.
No problem. Well, Maxpanda does store the passwords on Amazon, so they can create like any one of these users can create their own. It'll store it on the mobile and desktop, but it's totally up to you.
Okay.
This is what we're going to do today. I'm not going to talk too much about site management because I'm running 16 different companies under one account. So these are
Okay.
sites here, but again,
Hmm.
you just need the one, unless you create an IT department or public works department, etc. Split it up. We're going to talk about the roles. I will review 3 different dashboards so you can see how do we review all these work orders in real time. We will then create a work order. That'll be the bulk of my presentation. We'll create it like this one here. It's a pending request. Then we'll look at preventive maintenance, which is coupled with the task library. So a task is a digital checklist that you'll develop. This way,
Okay.
your PM is every month, I do this, 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 this. So instead of writing up a long, love letter in your PM, you just create a checklist. That's it. So the user who's assigned to the PM, or you assign them later after it generates, all they have to do on the mobile is enter these check boxes. And so very quick. After that,
Right.
we will generate a report and to see what kind of data we can pull out of our work order today that we created. Now, I did mention there's 3 type of work orders in Maxpanda. There's PMs, those are calendar-based schedules. There's work orders, those are submitted by any user. And then there's metering type, which is you can set up a meter based on hours, distance, whatever, right?
Okay.
Now the reports here, there's over 30 canned reports, and you can schedule them. So company admins, company editors, they'll be able to generate a report, preview it. If you like this report, then schedule it, and you'll have your report sent to you weekly or monthly, depending on what you prefer. There is a KPI dashboard. So this KPI up here will show you year to date, your entire operation. So in January, you can see I've got 1 pending work order. I've approved 1. There's 2 closed ones, starting in January. So this is permanent up here. Now down here is something I customize. So all you do is you click Add KPI, and you can create whatever KPIs that are interesting for you. I've got total staff hours. So every week I want to see what, how many hours my staff are working, total asset count, part cost, PMs, parts consumed, etc. So you can create as many as you want. And this is great. Download the PDF for a quick operational meeting, Monday morning, etc. All right, so let's begin. Any questions so far?
Not from me.
All right. So site management, again, this is an enterprise account, so I can actually create 100 different databases. Today, we're just going to stay in Maxpanda HQ. It's got 30 buildings, 5,000 work orders, whole bunch of people working here. As an example, I can go to New York. So I am the company admin, top role, so I have access to all of the sites. These are different work orders, obviously different buildings, locations in New York. It's a different plant, right? So every one of these users can be assigned to one or multiple sites. Now, because you guys are only one plant, we'll just stay in Maxpanda HQ. Let's just pretend this is your account here. So I mentioned the company admin, that's the top role. They have access to everything here. Now, we're not going to go through the entire menu system, but company admin is the only person that can go into the company tab here. This is where you can upgrade, downgrade, cancel the account anytime. There's 4 pages of preferences. So one of the preferences is customizing Maxpanda. So you can see here on this list view, for the work orders, I'm showing a lot of different columns. If you're not invoicing your customer or your internal maintenance department, you can hide this column. If you're not using category groups, you can hide the category group. You can hide everything up, down to three or 4 columns. So full customization, but more importantly, you can, when you set up Maxpanda, this is your first stop. This is where you create your location types, your asset types, your work order priorities, like those are the due dates for the work orders, but everything is pre-populated for you. So you can create a work order today as soon as you sign up. Everything's there. So if I go to, I don't know, work order categories, for example. So these are mine. I've got caterpillars, cleaning, electrical, HVAC. These are the default ones here. And when you create a work order, you need to assign it, right? Like if it's a plumbing work order, this is a required field. Now, why do we categorize them? Because in a year from now, you don't need to sift through 5,000 work orders and try to find everything related to HVAC. You can just run a report on HVAC and schedule that every 2 months or every month. Give me my HVAC report or electrical or whatever. But you can add as many as you want. You can customize all of this, right? So you can change the ones that are there. If you don't use cleaning, you can edit it, change it, or just delete it. So That's the company administrator role. The company admin obviously has access to the API and the reporting tools as well. Then we have a company editor. That person has access to everything except the company tab. Okay, that's the only button they can't use. Now
Right.
for maintenance, we have two types. We have staff and supervisor. Now the difference being the maintenance staff and vendors can only complete work orders. Okay, so if I'm assigned to this one or Amber was assigned to this work order, she completed it. So people get notified through email and push notification, notifying everyone, and especially the person who created the work order that Amber completed this task or this work order. So that is
Okay.
the staff, but the supervisor, editor, admin role, the top three roles can only close work orders. Okay.
Okay.
So once you close the work order, it disappears from the list view, from the map, from the calendar, and we store it forever under closed work order section. Okay,
Okay.
right there. So all my closed work orders are here. There's probably about 20,000 of them. Now, the next roll down is a submitter role. If I logged in as a submitter, you'll notice the menu shrinks, right? So we take care of all the permissions. Now, submitter is an office worker, general staff, junior tech. All you want them to do is submit work orders in the system, like report any issues. This
Okay.
gray work order means it is offline. So Steve has put this work order offline on his phone. No one can edit it. They can view it, but only the company admin can bring it back online again by pressing this down arrow. So our
Why
mobile
would you put one offline? What would be a good use case for that?
for you guys, if you have Wi-Fi everywhere for people's phones, you're okay. But what happens if there's no data plan or Wi-Fi? So the
Mhm.
mobile app works offline. So people
Okay.
can fully take pictures, update the work order. So it's more for field operations. For you
Hmm.
guys, if people are near, they have data plans, they have access to Wi-Fi, you'll rarely use the offline
I got you. That makes sense.
yeah. So, but everyone has the my work order database. My work orders are the work orders Steve has submitted. I've submitted 178 requests. And the reason why we do that is because this one down here, I submitted this work order in October. So I can on the mobile or desktop, I can edit this work order and say, hey John, why haven't you guys approved this work order? It's been 2 months. So again, an email and a push alert goes out to the people related to the work order. Once the work order is completed, and I submitted it, I can rate the vendor and the maintenance staff that worked on the job. So there is a running rating system. You don't have tenants, but you do have vendors, I'm guessing, correct?
I don't know if we manage those currently, do we, Henning?
Uh, I was talking to a young boy over here. Can I hear the question again, please?
Vendors. Do
Yes.
Yeah, do you
do
have
we
contracts
manage
with
vendors in our maintenance system?
No, I don't. We don't manage them. We do that in the head. But I
Uh,
guess, but then everybody would know where we got it from.
yeah.
That
So
would be something too.
yeah, and if you do set up your vendors in Maxpanda, there's two types. There's a vendor limited and unlimited. So the vendor limited that I logged in right now, they are not allowed to submit a work order in your account. You assign the work order to their to-do list. Same with like staff and maintenance staff and supervisors have my to-do list. So these
So
work
that would
orders,
be like if we have vendors performing maintenance or doing something.
correct. And then
Okay.
the vendor would be assigned, like this one here is assigned to a plumber because the sink is plugged. But the vendor will be
Okay.
able to digitally invoice you as well. And there's digital sign
Okay.
off on the iPads. And if you're purchasing parts and inventory from vendors, we have a full PO system developed by
Okay.
University of Florida.
Hmm.
The vendor
Okay.
unlimited is a vendor you trust a little more, and they can submit work orders in your account. So if the
Okay.
same vendor comes to unclog a sink but notices another plumbing issue, they can submit a work order and you can approve it and assign it to them so they can close or complete 2 work orders. All right.
Okay.
So any questions on the system rules?
Yeah, I do have one question. Well, not on the system role, but
Yep.
on assets, like you were saying that you completed, it can notify everyone that's associated with the work order. Can you associate people or vendors or whatever to an asset so that if you do a work order, it would automatically
Yeah.
associate
Yeah. You can
them
assign
with
it.
it?
Yeah. You can assign a user to an asset or an asset to a user. You can assign a user to a location as well.
Can
Yeah.
it be like an email, like a group, for example? Like, I don't know, say that a whole group of people need to know if
Yeah. We
a
have
certain
teams.
thing is worked on, that you're done with it. And they don't
The
have to be Maxpanda users. They could be, just so that
external.
they get an email notification.
Yeah, you will go through that
Okay.
when I create a work order, but we do have internal
Gotcha. Okay.
teams as well. So if you have
Okay.
500 staff, you can create your own teams, like 10 people only work in the plumbing department. You can assign them to the category plumbing. So then I only see plumbing work orders
Okay.
like that just now. So I
Okay.
don't see other ones. But you can also assign people to a building, to a specific asset, location, or create your team. Put those 10 people as a team called the plumbing team, right? So you can do that. All right, so we're going to create a work order now. I'll just pretend the pump is down and like I noticed it. I'm one of the operators. So there's actually 4 ways to bring in a work order in Maxpanda to your attention. Number one is you did make me a staff role or a submitter. So I do have a login. I can go to the desktop and click submit work order button there. This button is also on the mobile application. Sorry, why is this not
Okay.
minimizing? There we go. So the button is also on the mobile. So I pull out the mobile, I submit a work order. Number 2 is if I go to my asset registry, and today we're going to do a work order on this pump here. So these are all my assets here. So if I open it up, this is a pump here, but this is all the details that you can capture on a single piece of equipment. Web links, when we capture downtime, any metering, parts assigned to it. So I have assigned 3 random parts. These parts will always show up if this asset has a work order assigned to it. But more importantly,
Okay.
this is the QR code. So you can print out individual or all of your QR codes at once and buy Avery labels in-house and like stickers and just stick them onto
Hmm.
the asset. So I
And
could
then,
walk.
like a person that's working on it, if they know they need to work on it, they would just scan the QR and
Yeah,
it would allow them to create a work order or perform a PM or whatever.
yeah,
Okay.
and look at their to-do list as well. If they've been assigned to these work orders, they just hover over the QR code.
Okay.
So that's the third way. The fourth way is every site that you develop has a guest portal. So this is a form that you can customize and it doesn't require a username or password. This is the link here. So you need a code word. I like to use the same name for my code word as the site. So for example, Montana I would use that code word. So you can share this in an intranet or email it to all of your staff, or even vendors, or you just print out the QR code. So this QR
Yeah.
code, it can't be scanned by GoMax or mobile. It has to be
Uh-huh.
scanned by a free QR code reader because it's a public QR code. So if I did scan that, it would look like this. So this is the form and your company logo, your site name. So the person here, you're forcing them, the stars are, you're forcing them to fill out these items here. The person can take a picture, upload it as well. You can add any web links like help files, whatever. But you could also
Hmm.
change the text of our forms. So if you don't
Okay.
like work order title, you can change that to, hey, what's your problem? Or whatever
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
you want there. So and you
Okay.
can hide certain fields as well. So again, there's no need for username password. Today, I do
Oh,
have
okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I do have a username password. I've logged into my desktop. I will click submit work order. So let's pretend a pump is making some noise or is leaking oil or whatever. So again, I can hide fields, I can show fields as the administrator, and I can change the text to make it fit your requirements. So work order title, very important. This becomes, let me just type in here, pump is making weird noises. And we have spell check. Okay, so this text now becomes the hyperlink that all of the supervisors, editors, administrators are going to receive. So you guys can just, if you're all those high roles, you can simply click this link in your email. It'll take you right to the work order to approve it or reject it. It is also
Okay.
a pop-up notification on the mobile. So you're going to see a pop-up on your phone saying pump is making weird noises. So again,
Okay.
you click it, the notification, it'll open up right on the mobile. Reference ID is an open field, use it any way you want. Capture GL code, system code, whatever. Category,
Mm-hmm.
this is a pump, so we're going to put it under plumbing. Again, you're going to customize this. And next month I can actually run a report on all my plumbing costs for January.
Right.
Priority. Now, Steve, he's crazy. He wants this job done today, so or in 24 hours. I even have a 6-hour due date on it. Remember, if the due dates or the work order passes these due dates, it becomes red, which is overdue, and then the high
Mm-hmm.
rolls get notified. So let's say
Yeah.
Steve wants it due today. Just going to copy paste in my notes. So the notes Steve can continuously add to the notes up until the work order is completed. I can carbon copy somebody outside of the organization. So to answer your question, we have an add CC field here. So you can send an email or a copy of this work order through email to a vendor that is not registered in your account. Okay.
Okay.
You can also carbon copy somebody that works in your organization. So this is all of
Okay.
Max Panda's employees. This is
Mm-hmm.
not assigning Amber to the work order. This is only sending her an email copy of it so she knows something is coming down the pipeline. Okay.
Okay.
We don't need to send her an email. Now, you're forcing me to pick a building location and asset. So where is this issue? These are all my buildings here. So it's in the Richmond plant, at the pump station, and there's the pump. So
Okay.
if I scan the QR code on the pump while I was walking there and I heard the noise, all of this would have been pre-populated. All I had to type in is pump is making noise, submit. And I can actually take a video, an
Mm.
audio, a picture, a
Okay.
doc, PDF. You can add whatever you want and submit the work
Yeah.
order.
Okay.
All on
And I
mobile.
guess if you do videos, keep in mind your database is going to grow depending on the
Yeah.
quality and length of your video.
Well, we only allow 10 meg per file, so you can add
Okay. Okay.
as many files as you want, but it's only up to 10 meg. So that video is going to be like 5 seconds, right? 10
Yeah.
seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start from the top beginning here. Now, forget about Steve. I'm going to be Henning, who's accepting these work orders, and his job is to approve, assign them, accept, or reject them, right? So
Okay.
Henning just got an email, a push notification, and he sees that work order 3 million, pump is making weird noise, just came in. It's pending. This is not a work order yet right now. This is only a request. So Henning just edits the work order on the mobile, and he has two choices. He can approve it or he can reject it. But so
Okay.
today we're going to approve it, but we're going to do some things before we approve it. Now, Henning knows
Okay.
this is not going to be fixed in 24 hours, so he's going to downgrade it to 7 days. We go down
Okay.
here. The notes is where Steve can continuously add his comments to. If you guys,
Okay.
your maintenance department or vendor puts in a comment, hi, Steve, this will go back to Steve, the person who submitted it. We know who submitted it.
Okay.
It's right there. So the email system is the notes and comments in Maxpanda. If you don't want Steve to see your comments, you put it in private notes. That would be only for the supervisors and higher. So
Okay.
we're still approving it. Again, we would have captured a CC. We know who created it. Now down here, you can assign a vendor. I'm going to assign Acme Electric. So this is my vendor list here. This one is an
Mm-hmm.
approved vendor. So Acme Electric is going to get an email push alert, and they'll have their work order on my to-do list. Desktop, mobile.
Okay.
We capture
And if,
status. Go ahead.
so if we decide we're not going to assign a work order to a vendor, but to internal staff,
Yeah.
what would you do?
We're almost there.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I
Okay,
want to
you
show
just
you
leave
all
it
the
blank.
functions.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm showing you all the functions, and then you don't have
Yeah,
to use
yeah.
any function, right? And you can
Right.
hide
Okay.
functions. So we do
Okay.
keep a status history. So the next one, I'll answer your question right now. So then we have 7 accordions. So here's the staff. So you
Okay.
can add a team, which has, one team has 10 people on it, or individual staff. So I'm going to assign Amber.
Okay.
You click add staff. Amber, who else? Jack and Maxwell. So it's going to take 3 people to look at the pump and fix it. Now, I've set up their hourly rate. We will capture weekly hours, total active hours, and on the mobile, Amber can put how many hours she worked on for this repairing the pump. So if she puts
Okay.
in 1 hour, we're going to capture $45 of labor costs. So I can generate labor cost reports weekly and monthly. We also have a
Mm-hmm.
tool time. So tool time can capture the actual time she was repairing the unit. So this could have been 1 hour total, but she had to go to the store to get some parts. So maybe total hours were 3 if you're counting
Okay.
travel
Yeah.
time. So you can use this or not, and it's on the mobile as well. All right, going back
Okay.
to the work order part, we know where Steve is saying the location, the asset, and yes, you can have multiple assets per work order, right? Today,
Okay.
we're just going to do the one, but you can add as many as you want. We've added it to a vendor. Now, the next one is a checklist. So let's say you want to add a checklist. I have 40 predefined checklists already. So you develop your checklist. So one of mine is the full checklist for the pump that we're looking at today. We're going to add that.
Okay.
I'll show you what it looks like.
Okay.
I created this about 10 years ago. So it's right from the vendor. The vendor wants you to start the motor. We're not going to do the checklist today, but the type of details that you can capture from your vendor and your maintenance team is check boxes. You can develop a checkbox list. You can capture
Uh-huh.
numbers, letters, dates,
Okay.
dates with time, and a range value. So a range
Mm.
value is like this one's a pressure test, but you can have whatever
Yeah.
range you want. So here, if I
Sure.
put in 167, it's obviously outside of your range, like whatever the company admin set up.
Oh, these
I'll,
here.
I'll still be
And
able
we've
to.
got, let
Sorry.
me let me mute a minute. I'm sorry.
Okay.
1
I'll
second.
still be able to complete the task, but the company admin is going to get an email and a link right to the failed test. So we're going to get rid of the checklist. So just to save some time. Now parts, remember I added those 3 parts already to the asset. So I don't need to look up part numbers. I can even scan the QR code of these parts and add more parts. You can create POs right from the work order. Now you can pre-assign how many parts you think the person is going to need to fix and repair the pump. So I'll put in 8 of those, just random, some of those. So Henning's assigning the amount of parts he thinks he should the team should use. We do have a full inventory system and a low-level notification. So in this part here, the metal rings, when it hits 100, it'll email me or tell me to generate a PO. We have PO templates as well, etc.
You're welcome.
Now we added 3 staff. We don't have an invoice from a vendor. This is where the vendor would add an invoice. No one uploaded any pictures, but under company attachments, Henning, when you set up the location, you actually assigned a floor plan, aerial view, and a Google map of how to get to the facility, right? That's at the location. This data will always show up every time that location generates a work order. Same with the asset. So this pump, we have the floor plan where it's installed. We have a the O&M manual. We even have a video of how to take it apart. So whatever you think will help your team, you can assign it to the location, asset, and part. Now, I know I went into a lot of detail, but theoretically, this should have took 30 seconds. Assigning somebody, so downgrade the priority or leave it to 1 day, totally up to you. Assign your staff, but remember, your staff unlimited can assign themselves to the work order. Sorry, staff unlimited. So you don't have to assign people, right? They can assign themselves, and then click approve work order. So now we're going from yellow to green. Green means go. The work order has been approved. Everyone assigned to it received an email, push notification, new work order on my to-do list. But most importantly, Steve, who submitted it, got an email saying, great news, work order 3 million has been approved. So now I don't have to keep bugging Henning, email him saying, what's going on? I know you guys are working on the pump. So I'm going to edit the work order. And because I'm a company admin, I have all the status options. I can still cancel this work order. Maybe the pump fixed itself. But more importantly, I can close the work order. So maintenance staff and vendor wouldn't see those two buttons. Their job is to complete the work order. But this pump, we had to order parts from out of state. Parts will not arrive in 7 days. We're going to put it on hold and put a little note why. Parts arrive, we put it back to in progress, or simply do the job and complete the work order. We're going to skip all that today. I'm just going to close it. But before we do, let's capture some O-ring and mud flaps. So we captured some history. Our tech said they replaced O-ring and mud flaps on this unit. Go down here. All the checklists were done. I removed it, but you can add 1 or 100 checklists, whatever. For parts, one of our staff actually doubled the parts. They used 8 of these, not 4, 4 of them. All the maintenance team put in their hours before they can complete the work order. They have to put in hours worked. So I'll just put random. So 2, 3, 4 hours. Again, we're going to capture labor. That Acme Electric, that vendor, also invoiced us for $409.50. So I'm going to add that an old invoice. So they charged us $409, which includes parts and labor. So to recap, on this work order, we're capturing $409.50 of external vendor cost. We're capturing about $1,000 of internal maintenance costs. We are capturing I don't know how many parts we got, 21 different parts with so about a couple $100 or $300 of internal inventory costs there. So if I go back up here, this work order should be orange right now. One of our techs or the vendor would have completed it. As a supervisor, I can simply close the work order. I don't need to put a note why I'm doing that. All the pop-up notes go into the status history. And again, 2 things happen. The work order has disappeared from all of the lists views, but it is stored under closed work order section there. But everyone did get an email and a push alert saying the work order has been closed. Any questions on that process? I know that's a lot of info.
That is a lot of info. We might have gotten rid of a lot of paperwork, but Lord have mercy, we got to click everything else in there to have it. But I guess at the end of the day, we have all the info we need under in one place.
Correct. And again, those options, there's a lot you can hide, right? In my demos, I always like to show all my options in the work order because I don't want people emailing me back saying, oh, do you guys have part management? Or how do I use parts in the system, right? Things like that.
But I love the idea of the parts numbers and stuff for the things that we have fixed on it in the past, because instead of O-rings and stuff, if somebody don't bring you that bag, don't nobody remember what number that was. That was really great.
Excellent. So let me show you how easy it is to bring in, let's say, 100,000 parts into your database in 5 minutes. So these are all my parts here. All of these are parts. Again, you can transfer parts. If you use the checkboxes to highlight all of your parts, you can download this list here and update the quantities in the Excel form and then upload it again. So very simple If you're doing yearly counts, you can, look at your quantity on hand. I've got 516. If that's wrong, it should be 520. You can download all your data and update it in the Excel file and upload it again. You can download the barcodes for all of these parts or the QR codes. So if you buy Avery labels 22805, you can say you can show small, medium, large, or Avery labels. I want the location of the parts. If you have a warehouse with bin numbers, you can show the bin number in the QR code. Now I can download this PDF file and print all the QR codes in Avery stickers, and you can put them on the bin, or the shelf, or on an actual part. This method of Avery labels is not only for your inventory, but for your assets and locations as well, and your bins. So very, very easy. Now, if I create a part, a brand new part, you can do it old-fashioned way, one at a time, which is a lot of details, right, to enter in, or you download the template. So this template is an Excel file that's built for only this site here. Okay, it's tied to your site. So you download it, you copy paste, let's say what from your system, 60,000 different parts with all the part numbers, locations, whatever. Then you upload that file, and then you go back to view all, you go back to view all parts, and your entire part list is created. So that process happens for everything, buildings,
Yeah, that looks
location.
pretty easy.
Very simple. So we from day one, this was our goal in Maxpanda, is to how do we allow a company that has 40 different plants around across North America to get set up on the same day. We don't want you guys to be like, oh, this takes forever, right? Like it has to be very simple. So I didn't show you different views. There is a map view, which you won't use a lot, because if I click on approved work orders, I've got work orders across North America, and the work order is shown right down to the street level. It does have GPS tracking as well. So if you assign an asset to Henning, like a truck, and there's a work order here, but then he starts driving over here, you'll see the marker move. That happens at the staff
I
event.
could see that. I could see that being handy for field service, possibly.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, so it's on the map view. And you can see all your status, all your work orders here, like show me overdue work orders. Again, and you can complete the work order right within the map itself. The other one is the calendar. The calendar is also on the mobile application, but on the desktop, it'll ask you if you want to do a lot of filtering. So let's say you only want to see Amber's work orders in January. Maybe you want to see your future PMs or your work orders or your meters. I'm not going to filter anything. I'll show you everything here. This is basically the list view in a calendar map, a calendar view. So today's the 4th, but as you can see here on the 13th, I have a PM. So these are future work orders. So they're PM schedules. So I have a PM that says change the pool filter every 2 weeks. Now, what happens if Friday the 13th, the plant is shut down, right? It's an unlucky day. No, we don't have anyone to complete the work order this PM, and because it is a 24-hour PM. You can extend the time, or you can drag and drop the work order. So you can say, let's move this to Thursday or next Monday in the calendar. I'm not going to change that. You're not changing the PM schedule. You're only changing the start and due date of that particular work order from the PM. So we do have a
Okay.
monthly, weekly view, daily view. You can go forward in time or backwards in time. So I can see what's going on. So see my December, I have a lot of overdue work orders, right? So again, it's only a test account. Now, last thing I'm going to show you is the PM and the work and run a report. So under PMs, we do have a shared template. So a lot of our manufacturing customers will share their PMs, so you can go in, see what's available, and then add your assets to those templates. I'm going to show you an active PM right now on the pump that we did a work order on. So this has a pump. This is a PM. Does have a PM on it. PM is easy to set up. It's just your details and then schedule it. If you want to assign tasks, You can add tasks. So for every work order that this PM will generate, you're saying, please fill out these checklists. So there's a lot of them, and they all have to be
Okay.
completed, or else you can't close the work order. You can
Mm-hmm.
add attachments at the PM level. These attachments will appear at the company attachment in the work order above and beyond what you saw earlier for this pump here, the CRN pump.
Hmm.
Up
Yeah.
here this is the name, what you want to call your PM. You can use your due dates that you developed, your priority due dates, like 30 days, or you can override that. You can say 120. So whatever is entered in here becomes the default. So every work order that this PM generates, you're giving your staff 120 days to complete it. So that's a lot of time. This could be whatever, more aggressive, like you got a week to complete the PM. For your PMs, you can write up your PM, you copy paste the text, or you can upload the file, right? The O&M manual, like I have here, attachments right here is my procedure diagram, a safety checklist. Going down here, you assign the PM to the location, what asset. So the PM works the same way as the work order. You can add as many assets to the PM. So one work order will be assigned to all of these assets. These parts, we already assign them at the asset level, so I don't really need them here. You can assign a team to the PM or individual staff and vendors. So these two maintenance staff and these two vendor will automatically be assigned to every work order on the to-do list. We also have
Okay.
rotation, but that if this was a monthly PM, Amber would be assigned to the work order in January, February to Max, and it alternates, right? So then the
Mm-hmm.
schedule, when do you want the work orders appearing, right, in a calendar? So we do have daily, weekly, monthly, any permutation, right? Mine,
Mm-hmm.
I have running on the first Sunday of every 2 months. So this would
Okay.
be 6 work orders per year. We also include dynamic. So for manufacturing, this is very handy. This here, if I put in 3, this will not generate the next work order out of this PM until 3 days after the last one was completed or closed. So it gives you that
Okay.
little leeway that so you're not
Yeah.
overlapping
Yeah.
all the time.
Right.
And the last thing of our PM here is for this PM, which is inspect the CRN pump, you don't even need to run a report. You have every work order stored inside the PM itself. So I can go back to August of 2015 and edit the work order and see what did Henny and his team do to this asset. Did we use a vendor? What were the costs, etc.? What's the full history of it right here? That this isn't a report. This is just every work order that it generated. All right, let's go to the reports and then finish off with some Q&A. Now, I mentioned there's over 30 reports. We do have an API, which you can tie your Maxpanda database to any other application in the world. So if you do have an accounting system, an ERP system, you can use Swagger and move any piece of data captured in your database to that accounting or the ERP system or SAP, whatever. Today,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to run a report on with the SLA export. So I want to see my work orders from last December till today. I'll show you my header info. I'm not going to customize it. I'm going to preview this. I want all work orders, PMs, and meters, all status, all categories. Okay, so you can customize it and then schedule and save. Let's say you only want to see your PM work orders, you would do that and then schedule it. Today, I'm running all of them. So within 10 seconds, I got a preview of the report where I can actually save it in 5 different formats on my desktop or print it. It's a 3-page report. So here's the work order we did today. Now, this report is really handy. It deals with time and money. So this is all about the time right here. So it'll show you the status. We closed it today, but when did Steve create it? When did Henning approve it? What was the start date with our staff? The planned due date was 24 hours from Steve's requirements, but we changed it to 7 days. And in fact, we closed it today. In the middle of the report is the what, who, where, when, all your information. And at the far end, it'll capture your total staff hours, labor costs from your staff, the parts cost, the invoice from the vendors, the total. So today the pump costs the company $1,855 in repair. That is only one report. Now, once you set up your report for the SLA, let's say you don't want whatever PMs and you only want your work orders, then you schedule it. So we don't want you guys coming in here every day and running 20, 30 reports. Just schedule it. So I want this report in a CSV file, but I also want to carbon copy the CFO. Send an email to the CFO or even the VP, whatever. So every Monday it'll have the new data for this report, and then you just schedule all your reports accordingly. And every report you can hide columns, customize the columns, etc. Any questions on the reports?
Not from me.
All right, everybody. That is a lot of information, I believe, to take in. I'll stop now for some final Q&A. I want to make sure everything I've answered all your questions.
I think I have seen more than I really assumed they could do. The only question I had was like, if it asks when you enter a new piece of equipment, is there limitations of how much info there is there, or is that basically unlimited of what model it is, what serial number, whatever it is?
Unlimited. We're web-based, and your data's on Amazon, so the database is unlimited.
I think one difference I see is that, like, for us, as far as we don't have checklists, I think we put what we expect them to do in a big bunch of words. Am I right about that, Henning?
Yes, that's how it used to be.
Yeah, and that may be something that would require work on our side to make happen in Maxpanda.
Yeah, so we made all of those reports in the old system. Everything that had to be checked, like on a forklift, however many points, and that was 2-week, monthly, quarterly, whatever. And we just quit printing it because it is literally another 300 sheets of paper every month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's why it doesn't follow. So we made one generic, and then we transferred each person's stuff to like an Excel spreadsheet, just so that they could write the hours and mark that it was done, but it was done according to the list that whatever me, Freddie, Jeremy did so long ago. You're still doing it, but it will be 100 times easier if they have any doubts of what is I'm supposed to check on this thing right here, or you're standing with your cell phone, just hit that little part right there and it'll tell it.
Yeah.
I think the paper cost savings and the labor time alone, using not only Maxpanda but any type of CMMS to conglomerate all the data in one place and share it with the entire team is going to save you. It's worth the monthly subscription that Maxpanda charges.
Well,
can you click on an asset and just go into, like, if you were adding an asset,
like a new one,
just so we can see? Yeah, so I just want to see that.
Yeah, so name, description, asset type, and again, customizable.
Yeah. And I see the asset tag, so that could be correlating to our accounting system.
Yeah, and the tag is printed it on the QR code as well.
Okay.
IP,
yeah, that would be
IT stuff. Any files you want. This is the default image file so people know they're picking a forklift and not my Ford F-150. So that's really handy. And if it is a mobile, something that is being sent to the field, you would want to use the mobile. This way, you're not adding it to assigning it to a location or a building.
Okay.
So the mobile assets appear on the map, right?
Okay. Gotcha.
But again,
that's what you mean by that. Is it a map-based asset, or is it not? So probably for Henning, it wouldn't be.
Yeah,
no, but I like that. the assigned user, I can see right there who was supposed to check that forklift in case there are a question about that.
Yeah, so Maxwell, if this was a fork, or let's say this was a truck and you're assigning it to Maxwell, when he turns on the mobile our mobile app, it tracks the GPS of his of the app. So you will see exactly where Maxwell is driving that truck and position.
Yeah, that might work for a site services. I don't know if that'd be
Yeah.
but it
I
would be.
mean, I guess the only way that would be good for you maybe would be like you want to see Richie's golf cart, probably. I guess, unless there's another way to assign a
We
person
don't
to an
have,
asset.
yeah, we don't have nothing that is GPS tracked out here though, so it'd be hard for us to find it. But I
Mhm.
don't know if they got it in the field service trucks.
Yeah, that would that looks like it would definitely be handy for field service. And I never, really considered it for that.
And this would be one at a time. Again, for your assets, you would grab all of the Excel files you have, all the information of your equipment, download this template, paste a lot of the information in our template, upload it, and then if you go to view all your assets would be populated.
Okay.
So here you can see this asset is assigned to someone, and it is mobile. It's a mobile asset
Gotcha.
because it's a laptop. We take the
Hmm.
laptop everywhere, and you can
Yeah.
transfer. This is the transfer. You can move it from site to site, but you don't have multiple sites, so that's fine. And next question.
I really kind of think that was it because some of my questions were the Excel and Word, but obviously that's easy enough to transfer in between those two.
Yes.
You
Well,
could,
I think if you're going to have a checkoff list, Tinning, if you have like a Word document and you want to convert that to a checklist, that may require more work than just copy paste. Can you correct me if I'm wrong about that, Steve?
Yeah. Your checklist, you would have to create a task, right? So, and that's the best way to do it, because once you have a task, like this pump checklist we saw today, I'll edit it. Once you create this list in the do this, do this, do this, you're done. You're not you can add that task to a PM. You can add it to any new work order. It's a really good template feature to have. So this way
Yeah.
you're not writing all this stuff on every work order, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that looks like the way to go to me. However, on our side, converting like a Word document to that would require some manual work.
Oh, for sure. And this, yeah,
Yeah,
like the importing of your database is easy, but that kind of development and writing up the PMs, that is something you need to spend time on.
right.
And you don't have to sign up for a Maxpanda account. You can work on that and get that ready and prepared, right?
In
I
the
don't know.
free version, you mean?
Pardon
And
me?
then when we're ready to move forward, we would sign up for an account, right?
Well, the free forever version isn't live yet. It's going live this year. I just don't
Oh,
have a
gotcha,
schedule on it.
gotcha. Okay.
And
Okay. So
that
we
is
could
the
just sign up
purpose.
for the lowest one because I feel that, it'll take some time to define who is going to be that person to do it and for them to actually do it.
Right. And we do, and even on the starter, like all of these, it's a 7-day free trial. So you're not going to get charged until day 8. There is 7 days.
Yeah.
That helps people set up
Right.
as well.
Right.
Any other questions?
I've answered all the ones that I needed.
I do have one other question is like, all of this sounds and looks easy, but if we get, like Henning said, well, I thought it would do this. I saw that in the demo and
Yeah.
we really kind of, well, yeah, but I'm not really sure how to accomplish that. What would we do? Would that be a technical support call or how,
There's
or
Yeah, three things. Number one is the support button is right here, and there is a link to the contact support. It's 24/7. But before
Okay.
you even go there, you would email me directly. I'm not a salesperson. I'm your account manager. So quick questions, you just email me directly. Feel free, no problem.
Okay.
If it's more
Okay.
technical, then you go to the support page or even on our maxpanda.com, contact us. Oops. And fill up the contact page. So this goes to the technicians 24/7.
Okay.
Yeah. But under here, the support button, everything we talked to today is right here. So the menu, it'll explain how to do everything as well. So
Mm-hmm.
this is really good, handy. Same with the mobile, how to use the mobile, all the functionalities, etc. Getting started is good too. Setting up. But I am your first point of contact.
Okay. And I do have another question. I know we're a little over time, but
Oh, I'm
like the
okay. It's totally up to
the
you.
like the okay. And then this is short. So like if we decided to use the mobile for another group and you have an asset, you assign it as a mobile to a person, would it track their GPS location because they're logged into an app on their phone? Is that how the
Yeah,
tracking works?
yeah, but there's an on and off switch in the app. So if they don't want to
Okay.
be tracked, they turn it off.
Gotcha.
Then
Okay.
you wouldn't see those let's say staff. None of our staff have it on right now, but assigned assets. So you wouldn't see the marker if for staff work orders. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's part of iOS and Android. Like you have to have the ability to turn it off for privacy.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so in sense of users, there was no limitations on how many people can use it. It's more how many work orders and how many sites is
Correct.
in the plan.
Yeah, correct.
And one more question about work orders. So I think right now, as far as preventative maintenance, we do a work order like, say, preventative maintenance for, like we said, forklifts.
Yep.
Instead of having 1 PM for all of our forklifts, we do 1 per PM or 1 work order per forklift. And I think that's because we feel that we need that to provide the visibility individually on that forklift. Can you, if we had 1 work order for 50 forklifts, you could still see on that 1 forklift what PMs were done and the details per
Well,
forklift?
the detail you would have to capture the comment, right?
Okay. Okay.
So if here, this example, I have 4 forklifts, or let's say 5 different forklifts assigned to the PM, and it's generating a work order every week. Well, I need to put a comment here, forklift number 4, I did this, right? So you need to put that information for history.
Okay. So
Maxpanda
pretty
doesn't
much
know.
if you're doing a checklist, then you know that that checklist was done on all 5 of them. If I need something different, then I would create a work order for one of them, right?
That is
A
correct.
different work order.
Yeah,
Okay.
and on the mobile, there's that plus button, which when you're inside of a PM, you click a plus button, and it'll associate. Okay, this work order came from that PM that they're creating right now regarding the new forklift or the single forklift.
So,
Okay.
so with my counterpart, kind of looking at how many work orders we need to have, I will say this right here, like if the Facebook that are mostly the ones that are asking for that, they come in and they say they walk into forklift F52. We got about 3 or 4 minutes to respond to that. If I have 50 in one work order and I got to dig in there and find F52, they're gonna tell us they ain't up to snuff. So it's either one forklift that has them all, or if we go back to 50 in one work order, we got just as much work trying to find it, or just as much to enter. It has to be individual.
Can you not do 10? What 1 PM for 10 forklifts? Break it up to 5. five
If,
schedule.
if I did one, but they logged the hours, how are they going to log the hours to 10 forklifts in one work order and it still figure out which one of them needs the oil change next time unless I got to do something manual again?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to get away from. Like this Saturday, I'm coming in. I do nothing but that. That's an 8-hour day, and that's what I need to get away from. So for me, if there was 50 forklifts, that's 50 work orders. If there's 10 overhead cranes, that's another 10. But I need to know that each individual crane. If I pull up crane number 5, there's nothing for crane number 3, 4, or 6 in there. It's only for 5. That's important to us.
And that is the best way to do it, because then the details and the summary of the work order is more explicit, more detailed per asset. I agree. As long and to minimize your work order count per month, if you're going to go on the enhanced plan at 200, just spread out the PMs throughout the year. If you have 50 forklifts, do 3 or 4 or 5 per month, right? Like 5 individual PMs for 5 forklifts in January, and then the other ones in February. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but in all reality too, we probably got several things that are on these work orders that is not a priority item. It's not something that we need to know down to the DNA what went wrong here. I mean, for heaven's sake, we got 4 or 5 lawnmowers. We don't really need to know which one of them had a burnt coil. We don't need to know down to that. But for cranes, forklifts, something that has some substance to it, we need to know.
Right.
Okay.
But we'll take. I guess we'll take that with Richie if we decide
Yeah.
to move on. We'll take that and figure out what he wants to do, because it depends a little bit on. He will be the one that gets that report for the CFO and the VP that you had on there. So he would want to know how detailed does he want it, because that's something that's going to be easy to provide. If I had to do the same thing today, that would have taken me a whole nother Saturday to figure that out.
Yeah.
And here you can just type in, he gets it every Monday. That's super nice.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And that's 50 years of improvement. Ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit about how much do we need to do for work orders.
Yeah, that's something we'll have to put some thought into. And
Yeah,
what do we, like you said, him tell us what level of detail he needs on the reports.
yes. But from
Well,
what
have
I
some internal
from what I've
discussions.
seen, Maxpanda can do everything that I dreamed of.
Well, that's it. Maxpanda will work for you. You guys just have to have that internal discussion and figure out what's the best method to move forward.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll send everyone a post thank you email with some information, some IT technical docs and security documentation. And once you're ready to move forward, sign up and let me know, and we can even set up another webinar to talk about best practice to set up the account, the building, the locations, the assets.
Okay. Sounds good.
I sure appreciate it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Have a great day. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.